Thank you. This question is for all of you. Just tell us a little bit about what separates Bushnell Athletics from other athletic programs and what makes competing in the NAIA special. And before I kind of hand it off to the panelists, I do want to let all of you know that are attending, if you have any questions that come up throughout all of this, please feel free to throw it down in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll be monitoring that so our panelists can answer those for you. We'll also have a time for questions at the end. So panelists, I'll go ahead and start with Sarah. Again, if you can just tell us what separates Bushnell Athletics from other athletic programs and what makes competing in the NAIA special.
Okay, I would definitely say with Bushnell being a smaller school, there is like Coach Eddie said, the family atmosphere. I think like it's super important on our team that I'm not best friends with all 16 of my teammates and I don't have to hang out with them every single day. But either way, like when it comes down to it, we have each other's backs and we're close knit and we know that like whatever happens, we're a family. So that's like really important to me, and that's like I think what's made our team so successful. And then competing at the NAIA level, I think again just that it is like smaller-ish, so it is more of a family, and I have lots of friends that play at like different schools in our conference, and it's just a good, like it's each team at least for women's basketball is pretty like even, like honestly a lot of different teams could win, and so it's just a good competitive conference to be in.
Thank you. KJ?
Bushnell Athletics and NAIA, well, Bushnell Athletics in particular, I feel like it breeds character for a lot of us. It helps in the development of our own selves, and our coaches brings out the best versions of us. So I say that Bushnell Athletics helps build a family-oriented character amongst all of us and allows us to, one, get used to each other and accustomed to who each other are, and two, help build that relationship not just with our teammates but with other teammates from other teams. NAIA to me feels like one of the best like competitive conferences in NAIA, and it's, I guess I want to say, pushes me to be the best version I can be in order to compete at that level along with those players. So I really feel like it's a very competitive conference.
Awesome, thank you. Coach Eddie?
Yeah, here at the NAIA level here at Bushnell, we compete in the Cascade Collegiate Conference, which in men's basketball is probably one of the top 4 or 5 conferences in the country. It's highly competitive, and we always have multiple teams ranked in the top 25 nationally. So it's a very competitive conference, and that helps us bring out the best in ourselves as athletes. But in regards to specifically Bushnell, one thing that we promote here quite vigorously is wisdom, faith, and service in developing the tri-model athlete, being successful in the classroom, on the court, and developing your spiritual life also. So those 3 things are extremely important to us here at Bushnell. And I think competing at the Cascade Conference level, at the NAIA level, kind of really brings out the best of us on the court also. So those things combined really round out who we are as individuals and players and coaches.
Thank you. Miles?
Yeah, just to kind of build off of what Eddie and KJ and Sarah said, I really appreciate the fact that Bushnell is really prides itself on being more than just about our individual teams, but being more than that. One of the things I enjoy most to do with our team is our ETC day, which is just a day in which we kind of go with our teams and serve our community. And I think experiences like that really help build character and just to show that it's so much more than just our individual sports or our own personal lives, but there's so much more to that. So that's something I really appreciate and value about Bushnell Athletics. In terms of esports, we're slightly different, as you can imagine. So we fall under the NAIA, but we're actually more closely aligned with NACE, the National Association for Collegiate Esports, which, because it's so new, as you might guess, it's still being developed, but that allows for us to compete at a very high level. So rather than just compete in an individual conference like the Cascade Collegiate Conference for all of our other athletic teams, we're competing with schools from all across the country and from schools of a bunch of different sizes. So we compete against the University of Washington, University of Florida, Texas. So it's really a cool experience for our athletes to be able to get that experience to compete at a variety of different levels and throughout the country.
Great, thank you all for sharing. This question is for our coaches, Miles and Eddie. What has been a proud moment that you've had for a specific student athlete or a team in general here as a coach at Bushnell? I'll go ahead and start off with Eddie. I think you're muted still, Eddie. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was going to say my first year here as the head coach, we beat the #1 team in the country, the College of Idaho, and that was a real special moment for our team and our program. It was the first time that our program ever competed against and beat the #1 team in the country in the history of our basketball legacy here, which spans over 60 years. So that's quite the accomplishment and a very proud moment for the program and our players that were on the team.
Megan, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, what has been a proud moment that you've had for a specific student athlete or a full team in general here at Bushnell?
Yeah, that's a good one. For esports, I would say, again, we started our program in the fall of 2018, and immediately we advanced to the playoffs for the game title of Overwatch and beat some pretty large schools that had been established for a little longer than we had. So that was really cool as a program. But overall, I just am so proud of all of our teams and how much better they have gotten in recent years. Cross country, winning a national championship just about 5 years ago. Basketball, both women's and men, competing for conference titles and heading to nationals. It's just, we continue to find great athletes, but also great individuals with character. And that's really a proud moment for me personally.
Awesome. Okay, next question. More specifically for KJ and Sarah, but coaches, you can add on to this after they're done if you would like to. How is faith integrated into our teams here at Bushnell, and what specifically about your teams, KJ and Sarah? I will start with Sarah.
So faith on our team, as Coach Eddie said as well, like our school is big on wisdom, faith, and service. And I think that from when Coach Chad came into the program, because he was new my freshman year, he completely wiped out the whole seniority, freshmen carry the balls, freshmen do this, and it was all about like not necessarily just serving the community, but serving each other as teammates, and it doesn't matter what grade you were or how much you played. And I think that played a huge role on our team. And then also, besides ETC Day, our team, I mean, it's difficult now because of COVID, but last year we tried to do one service project a month just to realize that it's bigger than basketball, it's bigger than our team. There's a lot of people that have it a lot worse than we do, and I think that doing those things has strengthened our faith as a team and just like brought us closer together. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that coming into the program, it didn't matter where someone was at on our team in their walk with Christ. It didn't matter like how strong their faith was, but they were welcomed either way. And I think that was really cool and really important because we could help each other grow in their walk with Christ, and we could help each other learn about serving each other and loving others. And I think that was something that just welcomed everyone really well onto our team.
Faith has been implemented in every aspect of our team, from even starting practice to the end. We have faith, especially during today's times, that we'll eventually play. So I feel like faith has been a very keen thing for us. We do devotions every day. We always, our coaches always give devotions to us every day, giving us hope, giving us faith that through everything, all our trials and tribulations will eventually succeed. So I really enjoy that. I really enjoy how our faith brings us together and keeps us motivated to keep going. Not just with our basketball team alone, but with every team on campus. Everybody's driven by faith that we're going to get there at some point in time. So I believe that even through good games, bad games, we're always people preaching the faith to get through. God has done good for us, everybody. And so I feel like it's very good for us to be able to look back and still hold that faith whenever things go bad. So I really enjoy that we all implement faith through everything we do, especially with the team. And yeah.
Awesome. Coaches, anything you would like to add? Okay.
Okay, I have the next question for you guys. Stepping in here a little bit late, but my name's Annika. I'm another admissions counselor here. So my question is, what does the process look like for a student athlete when they are going to be gone for a road trip? So I'll start with Sarah, and then you can move on to KJ.
Okay, so when we're going to be gone for a road trip, we typically leave, depending on if we're playing Friday or Saturday. Sometimes we'll leave Thursday or Friday morning. So before we leave, I would say that most of us try to, we have to check in with our teachers, remind them that we're going to be gone. Most of us try to get all of our homework done before we leave, and then on the typical road trip, usually we get to wherever we're playing. Sometimes that night we have shoot around, or just team dinner, or like study hall. And then the next day we have, if we didn't have shoot around the day before, we have it the next day, and then we play. And then depending if we're playing 2 games or 1 game or however long we're gone, then we usually come back Sunday, sometimes Saturday night. But it's definitely busy. And a little stressful, but it's just super important to like stay on top of all of our schoolwork, especially I think because it's more enjoyable if you can enjoy the trip and spend time with your teammates, playing and in the hotel. And usually you don't get a ton of homework done anyways in the hotel, in my opinion. But yeah.
Pretty much piggybacking off of what Sarah said, she really covered a lot of it. Yeah, like Thursday, well, the week coming up into games, making sure that we contact our teachers, stay updated on homework, information that we need, get our paper signed, because there's a paper we get that we have to get our teachers' signatures, that we've contacted, talk to them, and tell them that we're leaving for our road trip. Once Friday, Thursday comes, so we get ready to leave. I feel like road trips are the best thing for me to build chemistry with my teammates. So I feel like they're very helpful in building that really good bond you want with your players before we go into a big game or heavy game. We most of the time get food or lunch before you get on the bus. We're on the bus for, depending on how long the road trip is, get there, eat, get ready. If it's a Friday, we get ready for the game, have our meals before or after the game, get to the hotel and get up and do that all over again. Come back Sunday. We come back Sunday, we make sure we got everything, and really just like reflecting on the weekend and looking back to make sure you were the best version of yourself, one, and did you improve? That's a big factor for me, especially as players. We look back, did we improve over the weekend? Did we make a jump instead of a step back? So it's really just like getting to those road trips, getting the enjoyment in, the love of the game, getting the task done, and getting back and reflecting and going back and doing it all over again.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, guys. So this kind of piggybacks off of what you guys were just sharing about, but Sarah and KJ, would you mind telling us a little bit about what a typical schedule for a day in the life of a student athlete, what that kind of looks like? Sarah, I'll let you go ahead and start, and then KJ can follow.
Okay. So kind of depending on your coach and depending on what part of season you're in, if it's preseason or right in the middle of season, it kind of varies. But if we're in preseason, then, and that's before like we have regular games, depending on what time your classes are, usually you'll have 1 or 2 or 3 classes a day. For us on our team during preseason, we usually go 2 to 3 times a day. So we have either weights and conditioning, or weights, lifting in the morning, or conditioning or practice in the morning. And our coach likes to like cycle out which one's at 6 a.m. And so we'll get up and say we have conditioning at 6 in the morning. And then if people have 8 a.m.s, they go to their classes. And we usually go to our classes, go to lunch, go to the caf. And then we usually meet back up at about 4, and we'll either have lifting at 4 or practice at 4, and it's about an hour and a half. And then after that, we have whichever we didn't have. So say we had practice at 4, then we would have lifting directly after at 5:30 for about 45 minutes, and then we'd come back and then shower, do homework, eat dinner, and then do it again the next day. If we're in season, it's a lot lighter, so you still have your classes, but if it's not game day, then we're just practicing once a day usually, and like lifting 3 times a week. But yeah, that's about how our day goes.
Our day consists of basically, like she said, there's also a preseason. So when we come back, we have conditionings at either 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. or 6:30, depending. We get in at 7 a.m. on Saturdays or 8 a.m. on Saturdays a lot of times. Our conditioning just consists of getting us back in shape, getting us moving, regulating our bodies for the upcoming season. Then we start practice. We have practice every day of the week except for Saturdays and Sundays. We have conditioning on Sundays timely, depending on if we're in season or out of season. We practice from 6:30 to 8. 7, actually, that was probably, now we're practicing from 7 to 8:30, but preseason was around 6:30 to 8:30 or 4:30 to 6:30. And we had conditionings on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m. or weights and conditioning. Saturdays we had conditioning. So it's really just like a consistent schedule of things you expect to do. For classes, I would say we really have to manage our time wisely, especially with homework and different type of information we get from our teachers. Like, we never know when we have a big essay or anything coming up. So I'd say with your free time during the day, especially when you're not in classes, use your time wisely. We have class, I have class probably every day of the week. So I really have to pick and choose whenever I get my work done at the right times in order for it not to conflict with basketball and stuff like that. So it's really just picking your time wisely and choosing how well you manage your time. Because I say basketball is a full schedule and it's a really big commitment. So you have to be able to commit yourself, not just in the classroom, but on the court too.
Great. Okay, next question. We will start with the coaches. what piece of advice would you give to an incoming student athlete here at Bushnell? And we can start with Coach Eddie.
Probably the biggest piece of advice I could give would be to come in with fewer preconceived ideas. Sometimes you can set your expectations too high, sometimes you can set your expectations too low. And if you have a bunch of preconceived ideas, sometimes you're disappointed in those things, or it shocks you a little bit. I think sometimes the expectations, speaking for our men's basketball players, sometimes they think, for instance, physical shape means that, they've lifted a lot and, they can go out and run a mile or two. And so they're in shape. And that first month of conditioning, sometimes guys are finding in the garbage cans and stuff. And that's a little bit difficult because they're just not, mentally, they thought they were in better shape. And sometimes they are a little too casual. Our student athletes come in a little too casual academically, not focused, and taking the first couple of weeks off, not really getting their homework in right away, and finding this new found freedom, and not managing their time well, like Sarah and KJ have referenced. And that managing of time is extremely important. There's some personal responsibility that, mom and dad aren't waking you up anymore and kicking you out of the house to go to school. You got to get up yourself and you got to get yourself to class, and no one's babysitting you. So it's something that if you don't come in with the right type of expectations and taking personal responsibility for yourself, you can quickly fail. You find yourself academically ineligible to compete athletically pretty quickly if you're not getting the job done in the classroom. I know all of my incoming freshmen are required, I don't care how good of a student they are, they're required to do their first year in study hall. And then if they've proven themselves, they can work their way out of study hall in years later. So that's something that we've instituted that has really helped our student athletes. So I would say changing your expectation levels a little bit and coming in with fewer expectations and allowing those things to kind of be set for you instead of how set yourself in your own mind.
That was really good, Eddie. Yeah, one other thing I would say is just take advantage of all of the resources. One of the really special things about Bushnell is there's so many resources available, not only to just our student athletes, but our entire student population. So free counseling clinic, a designated academic advisor that's really there to guide you through everything you need to know in terms of completing your degree, because again, that's the ultimate goal. Athletic training, career development, there's just all types of people and processes in place that are there to support you and make sure that you're able to achieve your goals. So one of the really big things we focus on when our incoming players arrive to campus is just making them aware of all of that and making sure that they know where to go or who to go to when this situation comes up or when this is going on. And when you kind of have that in your mind, I think you're able to navigate any challenges that come up as you hit the ground running. So did you want one of the players to answer as well, or just coaches?
Yeah, Sarah and KJ, if you guys have any tips or advice, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. I would definitely say, like what Coach Eddie said, come in open-minded. It is a lot and it sounds overwhelming, but it's also a privilege because there's a lot of people that wish they could be playing at the next level and wish they could be at college. And so just come in open-minded. Definitely come in ready to work. Expect to be not at that level yet and expect to be excited to go to work, be excited to get stronger and better. And manage your time well. Our coach makes us go to requires us to go to every single class. We're not allowed to skip class or chapel. So it's a lot, but at the same time, you have 16 other people on my team doing the same thing. And I know I have friends on other teams that are there to back you up when you need help. And there's girls on our team. I remember my freshman year when I came in that were older than me that were there to help me. And you're a family, so they're going to have your back and they're going to help you get through it, and it's going to be fun while you're doing it. So.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Sarah and Coach, like just coming in, having an open mind and being prepared to not just work, but like work hard. Like you have to be able to put your personal egos and stuff aside, especially dealing with a new team. A lot of people come from high school, you know, being like Coach said, the man, and you get to a team where everybody's just as good as you or even better. You have to put your egos aside and you have to work together and not be afraid to build that friendship and chemistry with your teammates. I'd say another big theme is managing your time. Like basketball and school, it's a full-time schedule, so you have to be able to manage your time well, be able to get your homework done, get to your classes on time, get to practice on time, make sure you're prepared for games and stuff like that. So you just overall have to be not just responsible, but be focused on the tasks at hand. Also, and another thing I would say too is to be, I guess you can say, willing to ask, like Sarah said, for help, like if you need it, because we're all here to help, no matter what team you play for. If you need help, just ask. Or like I'm sure all the coaches are capable of, like, if you need to reach any of us for help, just ask. We're all here for everyone, and we're family, and so we take care of each other, and so yeah.
Okay, next question, again for the athletes, since the coaches went over this a little bit. What has been your favorite moment with your team, off the court, or court for you guys?
My favorite moment with my team is definitely, like KJ said, like the road trips. Like there's been so many funny things that have happened, and just like fun times spending time with my teammates, especially like we go on a team retreat every year, and last year we did a fun retreat and then a boot camp that we thought was going to be complete torture, but it turned out to be a lot of fun as well. We did run a lot, but it was still just fun to get away and to be with our team, and to get to know each other really, really well and learn about each other. And so just like spending so much time off the court has been so important, and played such a big role once we came onto the court together again.
I'd say the favorite moment I've had with my team, because I've had a lot, I'll probably agree with Sarah on the road trips too, and just going places with my team. It tends to just like not just bring out the character of everybody, but helps us understand the individuality of everybody, I guess, if that makes sense. Like on road trips, you get to see the type of person you don't really see on the court, or you don't really see in class. So you get to build that relationship with the person who they truly are. And so I kind of enjoy that a lot, because the fun moments, the funny environments, the love we share for not just each other, but for the team as a whole is just like a fun experience to me. So I really enjoy the road trips and just going places with my team.
Okay, now time for a couple of fun rapid fire questions to wrap us up. Panelists, you have 20 seconds tops to answer these questions. And we are gonna go in order. Sarah, KJ, Coach Eddie, and Coach Miles, okay? First question is, what is your favorite meal in the cafeteria?
Okay, easily, the chicken pesto pasta is so bomb. It's so good, and it's definitely my favorite.
Definitely the same thing, the chicken pesto pasta with the garlic bread. Perfect combination right there.
Okay, so I won't copy them, but burrito day is pretty good too.
Yeah, I was going to say burrito bar.
Lots of similar ones. Okay, next rapid fire question is, what is your favorite spot on campus not related to athletics? Same order, go.
Ooh, definitely the quad. Yeah, the quad.
I would say my favorite spot would probably be the Bean, because that's where me and my teammates go after practice every day. It's the most clutch place on campus, so trust me. But I love the Bean a lot.
I was definitely going to say the Bean too. I'm a caffeine addict.
I'm going to go kind of random, but Richardson Hall, it's actually a really cool building that was used in Animal House, and there's just a lot of cool rooms and things in that building, so I enjoy it. And my office used to be there, so I have some ties there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, panelists, for answering all of our questions about athletics. I do want to just open up some time before we close things out for any of our participants to ask you guys any questions that they might have. So participants, again, if you do have any questions that'll come up, you can feel free to unmute yourself if you're feeling brave, or again, you can throw it into the chat or that Q&A section so that we can make sure that your questions are answered for you. So we'll be around for a few extra minutes kind of to do that and monitor those questions. Before I do let you go, I do want to also just tell you that up here in Bushnell Admissions, we are here to answer any questions that you have. After today, we are your resource. If you are a potential athlete, we would love to get you connected with our coaches or show you where to fill out a recruiting form, anything like that. So please do not be scared to reach out to us. Jordan, Annika, and myself, even Miles, would love to chat with you and answer any admissions questions that you may have. So with that said, I will go ahead and let participants kind of start heading out, but if you do have any questions, panelists will be sticking around for a few extra minutes here to answer those for you. So have a great evening, and thank you for joining us for today's panel. Okay, panelists, I'm not seeing any questions coming through, so I will let you guys go. Thank you again for being here for us and answering all of our questions. You guys are amazing.
I think we got one.
I think we just had a question pop up.
Oh my goodness, how exciting. So we do have a question from Trinity. She is wondering, is it hard balancing athletics, academics, and chapel? Is there someone who would like to answer this?
For me, for me, I don't think it is, because I feel like chapel's implemented at a time where it really doesn't interfere with athletics and academics. I feel like it's pretty simple to balance your academics and your athletics if you really manage your time well. So I feel like those should be, it really just depends on how well you manage your time, when do you decide to do things. Are you more of an early, get my work done early type person, or do you wait later in the week? So it really just depends on the type of workload, one, and how you accomplish your workload. But as for chapel, I feel like that's implemented at a time frame where it really shouldn't interfere with most of your academics and athletics.
To piggyback off of what KJ said, he's right. There isn't anything else going on at that time. And then depending on your coach, our coach personally asks for our class schedules at the very beginning of the semester, and then different coaches do it differently, but he prints out or starts like a Google document, and so we can see our full semester schedule, and they put academics first. So they'll try to schedule practice and most likely schedule practice when no one has class, but if it overlaps a little bit, you always stay for all of your class and then go to practice. But I think that's helped a lot, so you don't have to try and figure it out all on your own. Our coach, we know a ways out what the schedule is. We know when practice will be, when conditioning, when we're leaving for games, things like that. So, and they won't be scheduled during your class. So you'll know when to go to class, you'll know when practice is, and you'll get in a routine and be able to figure out when to do homework and have free time and the rest of things like that during each week.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from those of you still with us? Okay, panelists, I'm going to go ahead and let you go this time. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for helping us out this afternoon.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Nice.